Alright, everybody, we are officially ready to begin this meeting. If I can get everything together, then we can begin. So, unfortunately, this meeting is going to be a little bit off the cuff than I would have liked. Because I didn't really prepare too many things for this meeting, and I was going to talk to you about stuff and sit through and prepare stuff, but I never felt called to. Now I'm thinking about somebody that I know of that says motivation is garbage and all that kind of thing. Well, that is just, I want to say that this, in real life, those two are very different things. And I think the fact that I just brought that up is the whole reason why we're here. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to see if I can print a couple of things out and then maybe talk about some stuff. Talk about the astrology for today of what is going on. Because that's ultimately what I want to get into today with all of you. And this phone does not have enough power in it. So I am going to have to just charge this while I'm talking. Yeah, I'm trying to find my charger, but I can't. Okay, I found it. And I print out a couple things. This is why this is why perfectionism is not a good thing. It's because perfectionism is the thief of your joy. And that is the very truth. It's the thief of your joy, and you cannot enjoy your life if you're constantly criticizing and finding all kinds of flaws in it. So if you're criticizing and finding all kinds of flaws in what I'm doing, well, then I don't think that means that you're enjoying this Amenten meeting unless you enjoy picking flaws, in which now we're talking about Saturn, and now we're talking about, that just dissolves in substance. It's, delicious, but, actually use your energy productively and get something done, and don't be caught in criticism and, judgments. So the enjoyment of criticizing stuff, picking up flaws, well, yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, so I'm going to be back, and after that I'm going to print stuff out, and then I will officially begin this meeting and tell you what is going on. So, hold on a moment, please. for waiting. I will not do videos on the computer. All the videos I do from now on for all of you will be in this format in meetings. I want to make those boundaries crystal clear. Any video that So yeah, the videos that I'm creating now are either going to be videos from sitting in front of a computer and recording, and they're going to be out there, or they're going to be like this, and I'm speaking in front of you, and they're going to be Amenten meetings where you're here, and I'm addressing you in this way, and this is what's going on, and this is how it's going to be. I want to make those boundaries really clear, so that I don't feel the guilt that I'm not doing something that I could be doing, that I could be publishing something, but then it's just, I want to make it private. But then I could publish it, and there's a potential with that. I'm really impure. I really am. Now, I do want you to just kind of lose the expectation right now if you thought this meeting was going to be something really, really, really big. Because it'll be what it'll be. And we do have the moon in Virgo right now. And we're going to talk about these two energies simultaneously going on at the same time. Now, I've already made a couple videos about what I'm going to be talking about and getting into, and maybe break it down a little bit more for what's happening with Joka, my thoughts, other things. And then I'll get done. I'll be done in some time, and then after dinner, you will then go into the theater and watch those videos that I've compiled in that playlist. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm feeling a little bit insecure right now. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work towards achieving, one hurdle after the other of insecurity. So I do feel that, although I made it really clear that I'm not going to get into that anymore. And the other thing, too, is, during the Amenten, I will probably not be giving any meetings on Thursday, March 30th, probably the next day as well. Because Thursday, March 30th, I have some surgery that involves a cavity or baby tooth having to be pulled down. A chain has to be in there, and then the doctors will slowly pull that down and get them in a better position, which is better than them removing them altogether. So hopefully that, surgery goes well. I probably won't be as tempted to do a meeting or do video or something on that particular day. That'll be a day with the Saturn and Pisces energy, with all the stuff going on, to surrender and go inward in reflection. Even though there are no retrograde planets, Saturn in Pisces is really introspective and really reflective and about going inside yourself. And I think it'll be a great energy for the Mercury retrogrades we have this year, especially in Taurus. We can enjoy the simpler things in life and slow down. And the Venus retrograde in Leo, this energy is probably going to support that kind of introspection of the Venus in Leo energy going on later this summer. And I'll be on my bed a lot and do a lot of those kind of things. But the one kind of personal thing that I want to say about this energy is. My dad has it. And I don't want to say too much about this because this, family and I don't, certain things I don't feel comfortable um, merging and blending together. But he, has this energy. And I do want to run through what happened today. I think the main thing that happened was, lo and behold, in my sociology class, we were talking about, you know, none other than religion and spirituality, which, ties in really well. Um, and, this is about, um, you know, integrating spirituality and finding a spiritual purpose and really getting really honest about a spiritual practice and a spiritual discipline and doing all those kind of things. And we're going to have a variety of people come here to the Amenten who were born with Saturn in Pisces. And they're going to be coming here and we can see what they have to bring to the table. And I think that the astrologer on Instagram, Michelle Knight, she is a tarot enthusiast. She does tarot readings and she does astrology reels. She may have this placement. Somebody else who has this placement, she actually worked in the education system. She taught in schools and she based how she seated the students based off of their Jupiter and Saturn placements. And she knows a lot about astrology and education. Her name is Alex Trenois, or Alex Trenoweth. I forget how to pronounce her name. She has Saturn in Pisces. And in one of the, she was on a meeting with the astrologer Kathy Rose, who I've mentioned in the past to you. She's been at this Amenten before, one of the astrologers of the community here. And in that interview, her bookshelf was books stacked on top of each other instead of organized in the shelf. So one sort of aspect of Saturn in Pisces is the lack of organization and attending to the practical details may be very difficult. And she was saying how, Cassie Rose was saying how the people with Saturn in Pisces, while they're mystical, spiritual, compassionate, all those kinds of things, then they're grades at attending to details and attending to the more mundane, unexciting, technical kind of work. It's different based off of the last flavor, energetic flavor that we've had, Saturn in Aquarius, which is really detached, very intellectual. And Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius, so it is, I want to personify, very happy to be in this particular placement in Aquarius. We've dealt with the innovations of technology, maybe some restrictions on technology, social restrictions. The day after Saturn first stepped into Aquarius on March 23rd, what did we experience but the lockdown? And that was huge, and that was potent and profound, and something huge that happened. And Pluto is going to move into Aquarius this year, and it is probably going to be bringing something intense, bringing something really strong to the table for for so many of us out there. And Maria de Simone was saying that every sign will be impacted. Saturn's moving into Pisces, impacting the mutable signs. Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius. On the first of the month, we did have Venus and Jupiter conjunct. Probably more importantly, there's an aspect happening on the 12th of this month, which is rare, and it's sort of I want to put it into a pop culture context. Um, so, we have Jupiter and Aries coming to a conjunction with Chiron on March 12th. And March 12th, remember, is the day where you go to the churches and you see the churches. So I wonder what kind of energy that you'll be feeling. But it's definitely a healing energy. It's definitely going to be about healing wounds, courage, and luck, and abundance and good feelings and confidence in yourself when it comes to healing those wounds. And so I want to say that that's going to impact the cardinal signs. And then for the fixed signs, you have Pluto into Aquarius. The Pluto moving to Aquarius this month, later this month. It will be happening on the 23rd. I did make a video about it. I announced to my community on YouTube today I would just sort of do a little insert in that video because I got the dates wrong. I didn't get the dates wrong. The natal chart calculator got the dates wrong. It said I was looking, and I double checked this multiple times, but when I did that video for Pluto into Aquarius, I put in the information, and lo and behold, Pluto moved into Aquarius March 15th of this year. And I was thinking, this is interesting. I've heard it was the 23rd. And so I saw that Pluto was in Aquarius by the 15th, and I saw that it left the sign on June 19th and retrograde back into Capricorn, since Pluto will only be in this sign for 3 months this year. And so I thought that was interesting and that was odd. But then I started getting all these astrologers saying it's going to happen March 23rd. March 23rd is the day. March 23rd through June 11th. Pluto's going to enter Aquarius March 23rd. And then now I feel kind of like the odd one out. Putting myself out there saying this, which is a straggler against what all of them saying, and so I don't want to be inaccurate. I really don't understand why I calculated that and it was wrong. It just was. And I'm going to fix it because this is important to me and I really don't want to be confused, decisive. Okay, this is happening on this day and I can acknowledge and I can celebrate it and sort of be on the same train as all the other astrologers and not isolated and separated, because that's not very, that's not, very fun to, be is, isolated and separated, that's, that's not, it's not a good feeling. So, I don't want to be that. And I don't want people to hear me giving the wrong dates and maybe, for 20 people who watched the video already, or maybe listed it for those dates. And so, I don't know. Apparently it is the 23rd, and I'm really disappointed in Catholic astrology. I don't know why that natal chart calculator is wrong. I'm gonna fix it, and it's been a long time. I could have fixed it earlier, but it was right, and I checked it, and that was what I thought was the 15th. But anyway, it's 23rd. That's when it will be happening. So that's the next big shift going on. And apparently, if you have any planets in early degrees, the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, you may be more impacted by this. I have my Mercury in Taurus, 1 degree or so I wonder what's going to be happening in March. Maybe it's the surgery something will happen with the surgery. And maybe I may, because the doctor says you may lose a couple of your teeth, or something bad may happen to a couple of teeth. And, I was a little scared at that point, so I hope that Pluto is not going to bring um, loss of my teeth. I mean, I don't need any more tests from the universe now because I've had enough and I've gone through so much impurity. I have so much guilt for of the past. I don't need any more tests of abundance, in my life. So, I'm just, done, and I really want this year, starting today, to be a much better and more abundant year than 2022, as a year of gaining that abundance back of what was lost in 2022. Because my abundance that was at the beginning of the year just, was lost and became more fragile and could break to feel less abundant, less grateful, so much more easily. And I had so much guilt by the end of 2022. And that was a really good year, but there was some, it was a year where there's a lot of shadow work going on, where people had to do a lot of shadow work, especially because Scorpio movement, that placement anyway. But let's just save that, because we're going to come back to that, and there's actually going to be a trip to Joka that you're going to be going on around the time Pluto moves into Aquarius. Hopefully it'll be a sunny early morning where you will go there and see the technological innovations to get the flavor of Pluto into the sign of Aquarius. And I'm super thrilled to hear the songs for this upcoming concert coming up. And it is going to be really, really big. And of course, we do have, Colin Bjorn Reed with us on this really important day. And so, with all of that said, I do want to get more to the point with other stuff of what is actually going on today and why it's so important as it is. Now, I just want to say, because there's something that I do want you to do. This deals with just a reflection of your life, of how you felt when Saturn changed signs, and maybe the shift of energy. If I have to be honest, I actually felt more spiritual. I felt, I'm not kidding. There's this energy of wanting to go inside and do the spiritual practices in sort of a maybe or a wanting to do spiritual things and to engage in all things spirituality. And not only that, but Pisces also deals with the imagination, so I'll definitely read a lot of fiction books over the next 2.5 years. Pull out the oracle cards, watch, Lee Harris, Philip Bjorn Reed, so many other people and astrologers, of course, of all I'm doing now. I'm definitely meditating more, getting out in nature, really doing more spiritual stuff than I have done before. And so, in terms of the health stuff, I'd say anything that can help your immune system in general, getting outside, sunlight, liquids, so many different things that you can do for yourself, getting your feet on the earth, really, doing that, and getting into an altered state, and so many different things you can do for yourself. Now, a couple of really important things. Maybe I'm gonna go through and pick out some significant things here, just that I want to talk about. I think one of the big things that one of the highlights of this, because you have to consider it's not just Pisces, but we're talking about Saturn here, and it is about facing the reality. It's about what is real results. And this is a time where any dream that you have, it's time to, work and put those dreams to reality, and to ground those dreams and those visions that you have. For example, during the next Mercury retrograde that happens, I am really planning on continuing to write a book that I started about 5 years ago. It's a book, it's called Uranium, and what it's about, and you've probably heard me speak about this, it's about this monstrous pipe plant that comes out of the earth. It deals with this blackout world, and then in the middle of the countryside, where it's flat as a pancake, this creature, this monster comes out, and it's all about multiplying itself, making more of itself, and it sort of takes a couple different shapes. One of those shapes is the Eiffel Tower. Another of those shapes is a triangle, and then there's sort of boxes standing in a circle. I don't know. And then these three children find themselves synchronistically in an attic where this sort of like there's a book series that I'm thinking about, Jack and the Magic the Magic Treehouse books. And not only the spiritual things, but we can also merge this with the the other worlds, Lord of the Rings. And maybe this would be a great time to finish up a book series that I started several years ago. I remember in the summer of 2018, we devoted it to a good part of it to Gregor the Overlander and the Underland Chronicles. And I think that this time period would be wonderful for getting into fantasy and for expanding the imagination. Yeah. Anyway, so this book reminds me of the Magic Tree House. Basically, these two kids have to, go. There's a tree house in the woods, and then these Merlin comes, and these types of people come that assign these two children, this brother and sister. You have to go on this journey in this time period in history, and this is your mission, basically. And right now I'm watching a Netflix series, or a Hulu series. It's called La Brea, and it relates to this whole nother story where people fall down in a sinkhole and they're trying to get back home, and this whole story. I highly recommend it if you like action that you can follow, and if you like a series that will keep you on your toes and keep you interested and invested and engaged in it. I really recommend watching this series, because it's sort of up my alley, because a lot of the times things are hard to follow and stuff. So anyway, in this book, these two children open up a portal. They drop down into it, into this sort of white shaft of light, end up in this place. There's a small little building with all these machines and the technology, and so they meet this person who talks to them about, this monster, and then, then things start happening. In the second book, they end up how the Vigurnium actually got created, and they find themselves in a steel, kind of environment. And there's a animation film actually. It's called, I think it's called The Flying Books, and you can say that. And there's a scene where, you have a gray environment, like a really gray, drab situation. That's what I'm thinking of for this. And then this whole thing happens, and then, so yeah, so I'll finish that in March or retrograde. It's all the time to, a great time to redo things, finish things up, and Saturn and Pisces creativity and stuff. I'll also be reading The Alchemist and finishing up the books I didn't finish during this transit, and so much. So this stuff I really want to do and want to get into, pull out the oracle cards and such. Maybe